Hi, welcome to another edition of Future Shapers with myself, Emma Kirk, in association with Plus News TV. Today I'm joined by, I'm going to say, a world champion, European champion and British champion, and I cannot remember all of the champions that you have. Louise Nadine is joining me today to talk about bodybuilding. Now, bodybuilding I think is seen a little bit as a masculine sport, but you are the complete epitome of womanhood. Do you get a lot of people kind of negatively commenting about what you do?
Luckily, I haven't, but I know plenty of girls in my position that have had negative comments towards it. I have had people say certain things, but I've never taken it negatively. They've said, oh, it's a bit too much for me, oh, don't get any bigger. But I can't ever see it as negative because it's an opinion at the end of the day. You might not like it, but I like it, and there's plenty of people out there that do.
What was your kind of initial step into bodybuilding? Because, you know, you see a lot of images of women who have gone quite extreme with that. You must have at some point thought, you know what, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to go down this path. What was your initial step?
I think the PT that I'd got involved with when I first started out, he'd already done the MPA, which is a natural association. So I kind of just gravitated down that line anyway because of his influence. And then I carried on down that line as a point to prove to myself that, because I always wanted to step up on an open stage in an open federation and look like I belong. So that was like the point I had to prove to myself that I could do it.
You mean instead of a natural competition?
Yeah, because I'd always done MPA, which is Natural Federation, and I wanted, in my head I thought I was never going to be good enough to do Open Federation, so that's what I wanted to work towards. But it wouldn't be a challenge to me unless I was natural. I had to
Maybe
stay
just explain to people the difference between a natural federation and an open federation.
A natural federation, you literally can't take anything, fat burners, diuretics, laxatives, obviously your common ones, your steroids, growth hormone, clen. With the open ones, it's fair play.
Okay.
So
in theory you're competing against girls who may be taking those things?
yes.
Okay. So your class that you compete in, it's, if you were natural, I guess, would you be more likely to go down the bikini route, or, you know, because toned figure suggests to me that you are nicely shaped. Would that be something that you would find difficult to progress unless you were taking something? Because a lot of women, don't they, think that, you know, if you start to train you're going to look like a man. And I think that there's a misconception, because obviously you train, you don't look like a man. But I think there's a misunderstanding of how you reach that muscularity.
Yeah, it takes years to be able to put muscle on you anyway, and your genetics will only let you go so far without obviously the added help. So genetically I can put a fair bit of muscle on. That's why I prefer figure to bikini. I like having a bit more muscle on me than what bikini does. I would ideally love to see if I could progress to athletic figure.
Okay.
Try and get that exercise on if I could, but it's more about the condition, so they come in a lot leaner. That's not something that you need to build an awful lot of muscle for. That's, you know, your diet.
That'd be a lot more chicken, right?
A lot less chicken, probably. A lot less food. But it's something that I would love to see if I could do, because I think this year, because I've learned so much over the years, this year going through prep has been quite easy for me to do. I hate saying this because I know what girls put themselves through to go up on stage, but it has been just a walk in the park. and I've held this leanness now all year. So when people say that it's not healthy, you can hold stage weight, well, I have in a very healthy way, because that's why I haven't looked drawn or tired as it's come towards the end of the year, and I've still had that energy to keep going through the competitions. And a lot of that is because I got to the point where I wanted to be in terms of my leanness for the toned figure category, and then my calories got whacked up, so I was in maintenance. I've been in maintenance all the way through the back end of the year, so I was touching 2,000
not depleted
calories.
in calories, not depleted in energy. So actually feeling quite good.
Yeah, massively, yeah.
Okay. So that actually then, when you're on stage, must make a difference for your posing, and actually just for feeling like you actually are happy. Because I imagine, you know, if you are depleted and you're feeling a bit rubbish because you've maybe not been having that many calories, then you're going to stand on stage and you're going to struggle to go, yeah, look at me, I'm amazing, because you don't feel it.
Yeah, and I think, like, other than being tired, because obviously your mind's focused on prep and competitions and business and personal life, and it's a lot. So mentally it's quite exhausting, but physically I felt pretty good, energetic, healthy, and I've had plenty of food down me. Going on stage was actually quite, other than the nerves, because I always get nervous.
Yeah, but that's because it means something to you.
Yeah.
If you didn't, I think that'd be different, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but other than that, I felt quite strong up there, you know.
Did you notice anything different in your training, though? I mean, to maintain that weight specifically, did you feel like it affected how much you could lift, or did you feel that you were losing size at all?
No, I started to lift heavier as the year went on. When my first competition this year was the NABA North East, and I'm really glad it was my first one. I came second, and because of that, some of the judges came up to me to tell me on where I faltered.
Okay.
Which, if it had come first, I'm kind of thinking they probably wouldn't have told me.
Yes.
So it was blessing in disguise. And they said that my back legs weren't tight enough. So I tweaked a bit of my posing to try and get them a bit tighter for the 2 competitions the weekends after that. But then I thought to myself, right, in order for me to do this, because I want a particular look, I'm going to have to come in a tad bit leaner, but I have to keep that muscle on, because you risk looking stringy and losing muscle.
Yeah.
So my training has to get stronger, and it has to get harder. So then I started training with a lady at the gym that also sponsors me for my bikinis, and she trains goddamn hard, so she pushed me, and I kind of needed that, because I know that when you get tired out, you don't push yourself enough, but having it in my ear,
it's easy to just go,
to
I've
push
done
me.
enough.
Yeah, it is. You kind of talk yourself out of it, and I do push myself a lot in the gym, because I've had to. I've done it by myself for 5 years, but having somebody to train with, I'm pushing her, she's pushing me, and it's kind of an escape, because I think